Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to another video on Starseed Academy. My name is Jenny. Again, sorry if this video is a little bit dark. The power is still out from a big storm that happened here, so I'll do my best to brighten it up in the editing. So today, what I wanted to talk about with you guys was like a weird experience that happened involving a portal. And then I realized that I wanted to share it, and then I realized maybe I don't understand portals as well as I thought I did, or as much as what's out there. I think there's a lot more to the story here. So, because I use portals, I'm sure that you do too, when I'm astral traveling to go from one place to the other quickly. Portals are fantastic for that, so you don't have to literally astrally fly all the way to somewhere. Portals are really powerful to go to all kinds of places as transportation, right? But I think that there's more to it, right? There's got to be a lot more to the story here. So basically, I just want to explain to you kind of the weird thing that happened, and then maybe do some channeling and find out a little bit more information about what portals are and why they exist and where are they and how do you, just whatever wants to come through. Okay. So here's what happened. So, okay, how did it start? Okay, it started with I'm in a new house right now. Okay, so me and my boyfriend, Brian, moved into a new house. And the first night that I was here, I had this really weird experience. And so it's not a dream because I wasn't asleep yet, but it turns into that. So I'm laying there trying to fall asleep. And in the far corner of the bedroom, I have my eyes closed and I'm trying to fall asleep. And in the far corner of the bedroom, I get a flash of an evil clown. Okay, super scary. And I really don't like clowns or dolls or that kind of stuff. So I was kind of okay, that doesn't happen for no reason. I wouldn't just think of that, something's going on, right? So then I immediately tune in and I'm asking my guides, Baba, source, God source, which is what I call God source. I'm asking Baba, what is that? Is this place haunted? Is this house haunted? What is that? Why did that happen? Why is it there? What do I do? And the information that immediately came back was, no, the house isn't haunted. You have an open portal. And I was like, okay, well, we need to do something about that right now because I'm not going to be able to sleep with an evil clown right there, literally right there in the corner, by the foot of the bed. So I started, calling in my people. I have different members on my team that do different things. This is why it's so powerful to get to know your team, their personalities, their strengths, their gifts, and all of that. So I'm calling in all the powerhouses on my team, as well as Archangel Michael. Let's clear this room first. I don't want you to close the portal with him in here, but let's shoo him back out. Let's actually check the whole house now, do a big sweep and get everything that doesn't belong, push it out through the portal, and then close that portal down. Okay, so I was doing that and I must have fallen asleep in the middle of doing that, which is fine because, a lot of the times, that's how I start an astral mission. I'll visualize what I want to do or where I want to go and kind of start as I'm falling asleep. And then as you fall asleep, your soul takes over. And then you have this beautiful lucid dream that you can control and remember. So that's what happened. So then I moved into this lucid dream experience, astral travel experience, where I was closing portals in this dream. So, and in the dream, okay, now more is coming back to me. In the dream, I was with my mom randomly. She doesn't show up in my dreams a lot, but when she does, it's always some weird, crazy spiritual thing. I was with my mom and we were walking down some kind of pathway. And in front of us was this huge portal, giant portal. And in front, standing at the front, facing us as a guard to the portal, was this reptilian. And it was also very, very large and not good vibes. Bad vibes, not friendly, right? Not of the light. So then I was trying to figure out with my mom, how to get around back because I was going to go around the back of the portal and close it from the back. And I knew that this portal needed to be closed. I didn't want to transmute it. I just wanted to close it. And I needed to get around without being seen to the back to close this portal. So then that's kind of like, I don't really know what happened after that. And then I woke up and it wasn't morning yet. I think I woke up in the middle of the night and I was like, oh, and then I kind of like checked to see if Brian was awake, and I was like, I just had a dream about trying to close a portal. And he's like, no way. I was just transmuting portals to light. We were having like the same dream experience, which was so weird. So then I think we just fell asleep again. And then in the morning, I told him about the clown, about the portal, and about all of that. And so he just says offhand, oh, that's weird. One of my friends told me once that Ouija boards open portals in homes. I was like, ew, like that's creepy. Maybe that's why I've never felt a resonance with Ouija boards. I love to channel, I love to talk to spirit, but you won't catch me with one of those. I've never touched it. It doesn't feel like a good intention or safe, right? Have you had an experience with the Ouija board before? That would be a super cool video, and I would love to know. I mean, just comment down below. Because I don't know if I've ever heard a good experience. Okay. Okay, so that's what he says offhand. Okay, and this was in the morning now. He's going to work. So then I'm like still organizing this beautiful home of ours. This is right when we moved in, and it's a furnished home. So there's a lot here already. And so I'm removing, you know, some of their personal items and putting them in boxes in the basement and then filling it up with my own stuff. So there's this huge TV stand, and I open up like, and I see all these board games. I'm like, oh, that's cute. Like a family must have been here before us. So I don't want to, like, I'm not going to throw anything away. I'm going to save all their stuff because we're only renting this for 7 months seasonally, and then they'll be back. So I'm packing up all of their stuff. So I'm like putting all of these, like, you know what's coming. I'm putting all of these board games into this box, and at the very bottom, I'm like, a Ouija board. No way. No way. Like, why would he say that offhand? He had no idea that was there. So then right away, I'm like, oh my God, like messaging, like there's a Ouija board in this house. Okay. So, I mean, how much of that is connected? I don't believe in coincidences at all. I believe that coincidences are magic and signs, like that they're our life, their life and our guides, our highest self talking to us. Signs and coincidences are communication. You are always involved in a conversation with the world around you. It's all one big conversation if you know how to communicate. Okay. So that was definitely some communication there for sure. So I was like, okay. So then I cleared the Ouija board, like, you know, in my hands, and I had Archangel Michael helping me with that. Clear this Ouija board, put it in a box, put it in the basement because I can't get rid of it because it's not mine, but I can like clear it. And then the next night, I remember sending I have some like guides and protectors that are a little like darker on my team, almost like they know how to, you know, like, how do I describe this? So like angelic guides on your team are amazing and powerful and beautiful, but they can't always do things in the physical realms. So sometimes you need something that's a little bit in a lower frequency or vibration to help you out. So I had like a lower kind of being that I'm familiar with and is on my team kind of go down. I sent it down into the basement, like visualizing, okay, I'm showing it where to go, visualizing the box and the Ouija board on the bottom. And I was like, there, get that, check that. And this like kind of guide of mine that's like a bit of a, how would I describe it? It's kind of like a wolf in a way, like a kind of like a spirit wolf or something. And it goes down and it's like doing its thing, right? Like it's really good at like finding dark entities, dark energy, and kind of eating it. It literally will just eat it up. So it's like going and like, yes. And it loves to be put on a mission. It loves to like protect me. So it's happy to do it. So like I see it literally going down the stairs, finding the box that I'm visualizing. I'm like, in my mind, we're communicating like, yes, that box at the bottom of the box. And I see it and it's just like eating up any remaining darkness and like clearing that for real. So I feel like completely safe having it in the basement because of that. And I've had no instances since then. And Brian and I both had the portal dreams about me closing and him transmuting them to light. And we've had nothing happen ever again in this house. So And, you know, it wasn't just me seeing the clown either. I remember him saying that he was having weird flashes or visions in his mind when he closed his eyes of like really gory scenes. So if you like, that's just so you know, that doesn't come out of nowhere. If you close your eyes in a space and the first thing that flashes is like evil faces, smiles, gore, you've got a bad, like either entity or an open portal to a dark place. So clearly that portal was an opening to like a demonic realm or a dark lower astral realm where things like that would be the norm. Um, so, I mean, just be very self-aware, right? Like sometimes we dismiss things too easily when actually it's something that needs attention. So just so you know. Okay, so now because all of that happened and I didn't know that Ouija boards open portals, and then randomly he said that, and then I found one that had, that's too much of a coincidence. Way too much to not be true. So I thought that maybe we could do a little bit of live channeling. I mean, and just see. I don't know what's going to come through. I don't feel like I know that much about portals. And I use them so minimally. I'm just kicking off my slippers because I like to channel with bare feet. I use portals minimally. Like I guess I don't maybe utilize them. I mean, I go and I close ones that need closing. I've transmuted some to light. I've used them for transportation. But maybe I just really don't know how they're created or why or what they're for. Like, I really don't know what's going to come through. So let's find out together. I set up a sacred space before I started this video. So I've anchored into Baba, which is source. I've anchored into Gaia, the heart of the planet. And I'll just ask now that my guides, Archangel Michael and all of my protection guides, just spin a web of protection around me now that leaves me safe to channel in this way. Okay, and let's see what comes through. Okay, so the first thing that I did was connect back to source and ask Baba, like, what can you tell me about portals, vortexes? What would be related to the experiences that I've had recently? What is there? And the first thing that I saw was like a galaxy spinning on itself, and then like a dark circle in the center. And then I heard like black hole, and that was a way to move from galaxy to galaxy. So the first information then coming through is that black holes are portals to somewhere else. And now I'm being shown that, you know, not just like they're for like entire galaxies to move to other, wow. Okay, so like an entire galaxy going into a black hole and then coming out somewhere else, because there are so many dimensions. It's a multiverse. Maybe this is too deep for me to understand, but it's like, I'll just describe what I'm seeing, like universes layered on top of each other. A vision of entire galaxies moving through these black holes to arrive in a new universe. And then the universe is being like, I don't know, layered on top of each other in a way, which was really interesting. Okay, so that's the first thing that came through, and that had to do with transportation, I guess. Like I was talking about before, how I use portals to go from one place to the other, but that's like on a large, very large scale, obviously. So let's see what else comes through for this. Then I heard the word wormhole. Okay, so I just saw like a wormhole, and that one was going from somewhere low, like a darker kind of realm, maybe a demonic style realm. And I'm seeing the wormhole almost moving through. It almost looks like water, but I know that it's moving through time and space and then opening somewhere. So these are much smaller. These would be for like an individual, one, maybe two souls at a time to beside each other to be able to go. This is not the scale of like, so maybe that's what I'm being shown, like the different kinds. So the first one being like giant, like the biggest kinds of portals that there are, and then seeing these little tiny wormholes. So let's see what else comes through about the smaller ones. Like, why does that happen? Okay, so I'm seeing, you know, like how ley lines on the earth intersect? So if the energy is traveling one way and then it's traveling another way, at the intersection, it's almost like the energy, two different energies crossing creates like a spin, which you do kind of see. This all makes sense because when I visualize portals and I see them, it does look like spinning energy. So it's almost like it creates some kind of cross energy current or something. Again, let me just confirm all this. Okay, so, and again, right now I'm connecting with source and getting the information straight from there. So what's coming through is vortexes, powerful areas on Earth having these vortexes. And we've heard of some sacred sites that have that. And that they would have deep, deep in the ground, some kind of an intersection like that, where energy lines intersected to create the spin, and that opens up this kind of either vortex or portal. So I guess the next thing I want to know is, are vortexes and portals the same thing? Portals are for going from one place to another. Vortexes are for powering up energy. Okay, so a portal can take you somewhere. A vortex is like an energetic power place, which would be really powerful to do a ritual on or a spell on or something like that. Okay, so they are different. So a vortex is a place of power and a portal is a place of transportation or traveling. Okay. Okay, so the vortexes are the ones where the ley lines cross. It doesn't always have to be ley lines, but some kind of an energetic intersection creates a powerful vortex, and that can be the spinning energy. Okay, so that's one thing. Some kind of an energetic intersection which can create like a moving energy. A lot of the times it's a spinning energy, and it powers up whatever you're working with. So if you're doing a ritual, like your intention would be magnified by that because it's like an energetic storm underneath or above you. So a lot of these are in sacred sites. And I've heard of a lot of things, like I've always wanted to go to Sedona because I heard of like the powerful vortexes there. They can be healing, they can be enlightening, they can move you through like your spiritual journey, like make progress on that. It's like a dose of a lot of power, which could create any one of those things, the healing or a spiritual experience. Okay, so a vortex is that. So the portal, so what I experienced here in this house, that was a portal, a smaller one, like a wormhole portal, not the big black hole kind of thing. And this is just how it's being shown to me so that I can understand it, right? So I'm shown visuals and I hear words. So I want to know more about the wormhole one now because that directly affected me here. And is it connected to the Ouija board? Like, can that really create like what? So it's like a doorway is what I heard. It's a doorway. And you can open doors to heaven or hell, symbolic, but it's like a doorway. You can open a doorway to anywhere. But how do you do it? So it has a lot to do with intention for sure. So like when the Ouija board is created, it's literally created as a doorway. It's made to be a doorway to spirit, to communicate with spirit. And if you think about a Ouija board, it's always had like a darker connotation. It doesn't feel like a neutral kind of door. It feels to me anyway, and I've always felt that way, and that's why I've never played around with them. Like it has a darker intention behind it. So whomever created it to begin with, like the very first person, and then it's just that energy's been duplicated, but it acts as a doorway. It's built that way. And that has to do with the intention when you're creating it. That being said, then anyone can use their intention to open a portal, to create one. So, but here on Earth, when we do that, it's energetic. It's not physical. You can't physically, like, you see people in movies with like their wands and they draw the door and they can physically walk through it. That's not available here on Earth yet at this time. I mean, things can always progress, but I see that that's actually an option for them, like in somewhere like Pleiades. They could physically create that portal through their, I mean, they have so much more knowledge unlocked than we do here on Earth. Everything's very locked down for what we're allowed to know about disclosure and energy and our history and everything. But like, for example, somewhere on Pleiades, they would use their intention, their energy, their skills, and they would actually be able to create a portal that they can walk through, like their physical body as well. Whereas here, we can do it, we can create it with, again, with just your intention, but then you would have to go through it astrally, not physically. And you would want to be careful doing that, right? If you don't know what you're doing. Like, I've never created one myself. I've always just gone through ones that already exist, that I'm guided to. But I do feel, and now that I would be able to do that, I'm being shown like this vision that you could totally create one yourself, energetically speaking. Okay, so how would you create where it goes to? Like the other side of the door. Like you go through one side and then you come out the other. When I asked that, I got shown something else. I got shown like how people believe some houses are haunted or whatever, and that it is open portals that haven't been closed, and that they could be opened by someone's longing for someone who's passed away. Like if somebody was grieving really hard and they were trying to get there to go be with that person, and then they somehow, that intention opened up a portal to the spirit realm of souls that haven't crossed over, like, which is like, can be like fourth dimension or lower. I always see like people that have died and haven't crossed over into the light. I always feel them around the fourth dimension. And then anything lower, like second dimension, first dimension, that feels a little bit more like demonic activity. So that's a little bit darker, whereas like the fourth dimension can be fairly neutral, and it all just depends on the soul that you're communicating with. But if you were to open a portal to the fourth dimension through like trying to communicate with somebody that had passed on, really missing them, thinking about them all the time, grieving them, that intention could very well open up a portal. And then if somebody left that open, not knowing that they opened it, yeah, you could definitely have like spirit activity within your home, right? Now, it wouldn't be demonic and super dark. It would just be ghosts, which are not demons. It would be those souls that hadn't crossed over. But yeah, you're opening a doorway to their world. And so you don't want to do that without an intention, a really powerful intention, and then you'd want to close it when you're done. And I see, and then the next vision then being shown is that it would be created in the room where most of that intention happened. So I'm seeing like a vision right now of like an older woman sitting on a couch, and like above her head where all the thinking is happening, this portal is created. It's almost like her energy, she's grieving and she's thinking about like someone that she's lost, and it's like a thought bubble above her head that's creating this crazy portal. So it definitely happens without people meaning to all the time on Earth as an astral portal, though, like for spirit or energy only. And then in the other worlds, like where they would have like the technology and the know-how, like for just as an example in the Pleiades, that they would be able to actually create portals that they could physically walk through. So, and I'm sure that that's on many, many different, areas within this galaxy, that's a potential. Yeah, because I definitely, I think that like, Arcturians use portals as well. I mean, I think a lot of people use them. Why wouldn't you? To, if you knew how and it was safe and everything, right? To just go from one place to the other. And they use them on Cygnus too. I've had that information come through, like the constellation of Cygnus. There's a lot of like, I think I've done a video on Cygnus on this channel before. I love that constellation so much. There's a lot of like swan beings and different kinds of avian beings and wetland kind of beings that live there, and they definitely work with portals as well. Okay, so what hasn't been answered? So yes, there was a connection to the Ouija board because it's a doorway, because it was created to be one. It always was created to be a doorway from the very beginnings of creating that, like the first person that ever made a Ouija board, and that it has a little bit of a darker feel to it because it's that wanting to, I mean, why does it feel so dark though? I mean, that's a really good question. Because if somebody's just trying to talk to someone that's their loved one that's crossed over, that should just be the fourth dimension, which can feel kind of neutral. But whenever I feel like a Ouija board, it always feels kind of demonic to me. And then my own experience with the clown thing, that was totally below fourth dimension. Absolutely. So why? So that's okay. Before I even had the chance to ask that. So that was the intention of the person that created it. So who is that would create that? And why on earth would it be marketed to children? So that's interesting, right? That somebody would want to open something, a doorway, to a lower place, and then like send that out across. I mean, it's very well known in North America, like all of the US and Canada knows. I mean, I don't know if it's a worldwide thing, but I mean, Ouija boards are very well known and they've been going for decades and decades and decades. Who was the original creator? Their intention was dark. Their intention was a darker, because it's below that neutral fourth dimensional place of just wanting to talk to like a loved one. I feel like it has the potential anyway to get a lot darker. And like this was like the home of just like a nice family, but just that board existing here created that experience and connection to a demonic realm. So, I mean, and I didn't even know it was here, so it wasn't like my fears of it then creating that, you know, like when you think something so much that it creates it. I didn't even know it was here. Like all of that was just such a coincidence. So I think that is all about the intention of the person that created it. And again, it's energetic and it's astral, but it is truly a doorway. So to a darker place. So, and then there are people that are really into that. And I have no judgment. Like I've done readings for people that are into like demon magic and all of that. And that's fine. Like, one realm is not better or worse than the other. Like we have to remember that. And everybody has their own lessons that they're working through, and you don't know why somebody needs something more than the other, darkness more than light or light more than darkness. It's not, one is not better than the other. It's not a bad thing. For me, I don't, obviously I don't want to create a connection with the demonic realm because that's not my calling. And that was a really uncomfortable experience for me. But I'm seeing now like that there are people that work with demonology and demon magic and all of that, and they would be comfortable creating a portal that goes directly there. Maybe they have guides there, family there, like who knows? Souls are souls, right? So it looks like from, the information coming through and the visions that I'm getting that you can create a portal to like any dimension, including the angelic. So from the top all the way down through your intention and consistency. So I don't think you just think about it once and it's fully strong and open. It looks like it's a consistent thing where you're like with the example of like the person that was grieving, they were always thinking about that person, always wanting to talk to them, always, going through memories of them. You would need to be consistent with it. So if you were wanting to create like a portal to the angelic realm, if you consistently focused on that, and made it a part of like your spiritual routine to like keep that doorway open and inviting them into your home or visiting through that, then you could do that. And I do see that portals do become inactive if they're not used. It's not that it's fully closed. You have to use your intention to fully close it. And then I've seen, like you can transmute a portal into light or you can close it. Okay, so closing it is fully an intention thing. But when you're in the astral place, like when I was in the astral space trying to close it, it felt like a lot of activity that I had to take to close it, and it felt like a physical thing. Astrally it is, but physically it's your intention. Okay, so like on the physical realm, to open or close one, we use our intention, but that intention goes into the astral realm and then uses a lot of energy to create your desired outcome. So hopefully that makes sense. And then now I'm just curious about like the transmuting it to light. Like what does that, because I understand how it opens and closes. I mean, it comes into existence and then it dissolves. But what about the transmuting it to light? I mean, if the doorway, say you had a portal in your room right now, and it was going into like a dark place and you wanted to transport it to light, does that mean that it literally changes direction and that it like kind of moves up and starts heading upwards towards light? But it's the same doorway, it's just that the hallway changes direction? Like, I don't know. Let me just see if anything comes through. Okay, so again, I just got shown like if my intention was light, I was shown like sparkling light, and that I'm visualizing it too literally. Like it's a portal here, and then it's a portal here, and there isn't necessarily like a wormhole. It's almost like popping in and out of existence, but they were showing that to me at the beginning to like help me understand, because you're always going to be shown things that with psychic gifts, you're always going to be shown visions that are going to help you understand it the best, to describe it the best. But really, it's not like there's this hallway that would have to like move. It's just the matching door. So if I have this open portal and then I'm like using my intention to visualize like sparkling, beautiful white and golden light, the doorway is going to pop up here. And if I wanted to visualize like darker, gory, scary things, then the doorway would pop up down here. And there's no real hallway in between. It's like an instant thing. And then maybe finally, like something good to know would be like, how do you know if you have an open portal in your home? So you could scan for one in meditation. You could definitely do that. You know how you can scan your own body for, oh, they're like chakras in a way, because you can scan your own chakras for anything like that. It just reminded me of a chakra because a chakra is a spinning energetic. Interesting. I wonder if there's a connection there between chakras and portals. No, it's more like a vortex. Like we were talking about how vortexes are like power places of extreme energy. That would be like a chakra, not really the transportation one. But yeah, like you could scan, like you could go into meditation and you could scan your home. You don't even have to use your hands. You can just mentally. Have you ever done that before? Like I have when I'm doing a clearing for my home, I close my eyes and I visualize every room and I visualize white light washing through every single room and I really picture it. And I go through every single room in the home, and that's a really good home clearing. So you could do that same thing, but as a scan, as you're like searching for things. I actually talked about how to do an energetic scan in the video called Empaths Try This. It was like a trick for empaths to use, because we have such a sensitive energy receptor and it's always turned inwards, but we can turn it outwards and we can learn to scan people or places. So if you want to learn how to do that, check out the video Empaths Try This. Okay, so I think that's good for now. I feel like I feel like I definitely have a better understanding of what came through. And I think I just need to integrate some of that and sit with it for a bit, and that there's definitely a lot more that I could learn and build upon these very basic understandings of the difference between a vortex and a portal, how you open or close a portal, why it gets opened or closed, and then like the Ouija board connection, which I think had to do with the original creator of that and their intention, right? Being kind of a darker thing. And maybe they were somebody that was really into the occult or black magic. That would make perfect sense. And then created that. And then it got turned into like a game for kids, which is like, wow. That's just crazy, having kids opening doors all across the country, right? So just be aware, I guess. Be aware. Do a scan in your own home. after this and see if you have anything open, especially if you have a Ouija board. But yeah, I just thought I would share that experience of mine and see what kind of information that we could gain about this. And maybe as understanding grows and as this integrates, we could even go a little bit further and do like a part 2 into more advanced understanding. So and that being said, if you have extra questions that I couldn't think of today about either vortexes or portals, pop them below and I'll see maybe in a little bit of time doing a part 2 to this and channeling some answers for that. So awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining me again on this channel for another video. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And of course, before you go, always remember, listen to your heart and the quiet voice within. Because you are so much more than the body you are in. Thank you, beautiful starseeds. Have a great day. Bye.